Welcome to Alice's channel. Today we're going to be freeze drying mangoes. First, we're going to be washing them and peeling them before we cut them into small pieces. After they have been cut into pieces, I'm going to be blending them. In the past, I have tried freeze drying pieces of mango, squares, or slices, but I do not really like that consistency. So this time I'm going to be cutting them into pieces, blending them, and once they have been freeze dried, I will be turning them into powder. You can use a hand blender, but in this case I'm using a regular blender. You also have the option at this point to add any seasoning that you want, even lemon juice. But for the moment, for these batches, I'm going to freeze drying them just as it is, plain mango. And we can always add during the rehydration process some lemon juice or anything else you want to add. Once everything is well blended, we're going to transfer the pulp onto the trays, making sure everything is spread out evenly. You want to make sure that it's as even as possible so that during the freeze drying process, everything gets done at the same time. If you have a thicker side, it'll take longer to freeze dry. Once everything has been evenly spread, I'm going to put them in the freezer. I will be pre-freezing them overnight or at least for 6 hours before I put them in the freeze dryer. Here we are 8 hours later. The mango is completely frozen and the machine has been pre-freezed for 15 minutes, so we are ready to load the trays onto the freeze dryer. 46 hours later, we are ready to see the results. After verifying that the mango is completely dry, I'm going to be covering the trays with the plastic lid. This is due to the high humidity in my area. I want to make sure we avoid as much as possible humidity getting back or moisture getting back into the mango. The trays are still a little bit warm, but you can check, double check, and you can see they are extremely dry. They are definitely ready for the next step, which is turning them into powder. As you can see, this is not an easy task doing them by hand, as it is with freeze drying eggs. Because of the sugar content, it is much harder to do this manually. So instead of continuing to do this with the Ziploc bag, I'm going to switch to a blender. And as you can see, it is much easier and faster using a blender. You get a much finer powder. So I will definitely recommend to using the blender versus trying to doing it by hand. It is nicely blended. You can see how fine of a powder you get once you use the blender. On the smaller container, I'm going to be adding a moisture absorbent instead of a oxygen absorbent because I'm planning to use this one in the short term, and I want to make sure there is no moisture inside the container. For the other two, since I'm going to keep them for long-term storage, I'm going to be adding instead an oxygen absorbent. After adding the moisture absorbent and the oxygen absorbents on the other two containers, I vacuum seal the yards and they are ready to be placed on my shelves. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.